There it is. Hello. Kylie here and welcome. Welcome to a bit of a talk about self-publishing, writing, promoting, marketing, launching, basically all the ins and outs of being an indie author. Actually, I want to talk about that term indie author because when I first heard it, I wasn't really sure what it meant, but now I love it because I think it really is what it's all about for us. It basically, I guess it's kind of self-explanatory, but it defines an author who does their own self-publishing as opposed to going with either a traditional publishing, which I have spoken and written absolutely miles and miles of words about why I don't think that's a good idea in today's, the current climate to this day and age and all that kind of thing. So you do it obviously independently, but also there's this other thing called hybrid publishing, or sometimes known as vanity publishing. And that is like a really kind of weird situation where they take a lot of money from you and they do the basic things that I teach people about, like, how to put your book on Amazon and like stuff that would take you 5 minutes to learn if you could be bothered. And then they don't actually even promote your book. That is the misconception. That's the word I'm looking for. That is the misconception out there that if you go with either a traditional publisher or with a hybrid, whatever, they don't call themselves that, but that's what they are. If they ask you for like $5,000 or something, and then that's a hybrid publisher. They still don't do your marketing for you. Let me tell you my approach to book marketing, and as far as I'm aware, it's fairly unique. I mean, I do entire courses on this, and on that topic, let me just do a little sidebar here. You will notice at the moment I have a 48-hour flash sale. It's to do with, I don't know, it's Halloween, I guess. I was getting ready to do it, and then suddenly it became Halloween, like it just out of the blue. I was like, it's not actually something I take a lot of notice of, but I thought, well, that's, I was going to do it in about 3 or 4 days, and I thought, well, let's just push this along and make it happen, because it's nice to hang it around a special significant date. I don't know. So it's on for 48 hours, and in that bundle, I have actually bundled together some of my best trainings that have sold for hundreds of dollars, and they're at a really reduced price. So I've bundled 6 together. Several of them are approaching the very specific topic of marketing and promoting your book, and my unique approach to it, which has done me extremely well, plus all of the clients that I have worked with as well. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of an overview of how I approach this particular topic. So a lot of people think of book marketing as like going door to door to bookstores and saying, will you take my book, or begging your family and friends to buy your book, or let's say if they think that if you go with a traditional publisher and you get traditionally published, that you will have your book, will be featured at the front of the bookstore in its own stand or something like that. Now, that's not how it works, and that's not what happens. First of all, book sales happen online as opposed to in bookstores. Now, I'm not saying that you would sell a couple of books here and there in a bookstore, but this is not the future. The future is online books. People like to consume and buy books in the ebook version. So if that's what the consumer wants, I guess it's up to us to provide it. Of course, you provide a hard copy book as well, because it's a beautiful thing to have, and A lot of people do like to consume it that way, but not the majority, not the vast majority of book readers. So you provide the book that way, it is purchased that way, so it's not sitting in a bookshop at all. It's sitting on the cyber shelves. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, because of that first thing, we need to approach book promotion and marketing completely differently to what is in our head or what has traditionally been done, what traditional publishers still do when they do promote books. And the only books they promote are ones by like authors that they know are going to make a shit ton of money for them. So the real big names, yeah, they're going to get the promotions and the cardboard stand at the front of the bookstore. You know, if you're a really big time author, you will get that. But still, even for those people, most of their books are still sold online. But that is not how we approach it today. So you need to put yourself in to the mind, the head, the brain, and the psychology of a browser, what I call an Amazon browser. That's where the majority of your sales will happen, electronically and on Amazon. So like it or not, if you have an important message, there's nothing wrong with having a beautifully printed book that you can be proud of. But if your message is important enough to get out to millions, then you need to play the game, because honestly, millions just simply will not buy your book in hard copy form. The best you could hope is that your electronic version will get sold in large numbers, and some of those people, when they fall in love with your book, when they've bought it and read it and go, wow, this is amazing, they will then go and buy the hard copy. That is the most common way that books are actually consumed, if they're in the hard copy version. I don't want to, I guess there's two things. There's the romantic notion and the kind of, I don't know, the nice aspect of having something tactile to hand, hold and give as a gift and read and all that. And then there's the hard reality of, if you want your message to get out to a lot of people, then you basically need to have your book available for a lot of people. And that's where my marketing techniques come in. So I have the ability, through my training as a copywriter. A copywriter is someone who spins words into gold, who helps use words in a way that sell things. So by the training that I've had in that, where you really are trained to get into the headspace and the mind of the people that you are selling to, by using those techniques, we then take all of that and put it onto the browser to buyer. I call it the browser to buyer journey. We put it on the browser experience. Excuse me, I've just got a little frog there. Okay, the browser experience, the browser to buyer experience. If you use copywriting / marketing techniques at that stage, not put onto your book at the end of the journey, which is what most people do. Most people create their book and then think about the promotion / marketing once it's done. The way that I teach people is that the promotion / marketing is all part of it. It actually happens right from the beginning. And if you've already written your book, it's not too late to apply my techniques to it. It's definitely easier to apply it to them beforehand, but you can do some of them afterwards. But it's well and truly before you actually publish the book. It's really understanding what the experience is of someone who is on Amazon. And let's not mince words or pussyfoot around. Most of your sales are going to happen on Amazon too. So I know a lot of people like to put their books on lots of different platforms. I don't even know what half of the other ones are, because personally, and from the research I've done and all the feedback I've gotten, most of your sales are going to happen on Amazon. So basically you want to play the game so that you have, what do they say, 80% of your energy gives you 20% of your results. Anyway, that's certainly the way I like to look at it. And it's way more than 80% of sales that are on Amazon as opposed to all the other platforms combined. So that's the way I play the game. But anyway, regardless, whatever platform your ebook or your electronic version of your book would be available, you still need to put yourself in the shoes of your potential buyer, the browser. So first things first is, if you are an unknown quantity, and let's assume you are, because unless you sort of do have a name, most people who come across your book accidentally, and the way they do that is because it is in the top 20 books on a category, the way that they will first see it will be a postage stamp size a postage stamp size image on a screen with 19 other postage stamp size images. Now, you know what I'm talking about. You've visited that Amazon page, or any of the others are going to be quite similar. Half the time you can't even see the name of the whole title, especially if it's a bit of a longer one. It's sort of it'll say the first few words and then it'll be ... and you've got to click on it. Clearly, you're not going to be able to read the title and no way the subtitle on something that is like that big. So you've got that going on. And you've also got 20 other books that they're looking at. Now, obviously, someone who's stumbled across your book in this way, they're interested in the category that you have placed your book, or they've typed in some of the keywords that you have used within the keywords in your book. So that's how they've come across it. So they have an interest in the topic. Let's at least put it that much. Now, just try and do this. Try and put yourself in the mind of someone who has no idea who you are, no idea what your book's about, except that like it's in this category, so it's clearly going to have something to do with that topic. What makes them click on it? Not buy yet, because that's still 2 or 3 clicks away. But what makes them click on your book as opposed to one of the other 19? Now, you have to get it into that top 19 or 20 to be on the first page, because the chances of people clicking through to page 2, which is numbers 21 to 40 when you're looking in the categories, it's so much harder. So you need to get it in that top 20. I give trainings all about that in I think it's in the launch team. Yes, it's in the launch team, because I talk about the timeline. So I've got a training all on the launch team, team tactics, I call it, yep. So once it's in that top 20, what makes someone click on it? And that is the browser to buyer psychology. That is where you have to be able to put yourself in the shoes of your potential reader and try and understand what would be the thing that would make them click. So of course it's going to be what your cover looks like, but it's not just what it looks like. It's the emotion that it evokes. It's the psychology that happens in the background. It's all that kind of stuff. It's subtle things, but the point is that is the kind of marketing I'm talking about. I'm not talking about putting your book in paid promotional sites. Look, that is a good idea. I talk about that in the courses, in the bundle that I've got. I do talk about that and make some mention of timings for doing that. I really find that it's from the experience that I've had and the experience that the clients that I work with have with it, it's not the best way to spend your time and money. I'd keep it to well under $100 to pay for any paid promotions in total. Like, a lot of them are quite cheap, like $5 or $10, and a few of those, like it's going to help your rankings, and so that's not a bad idea. But there's a lot around the whole strategy of that. Again, I go into a lot of detail in that in one of the courses in this bundle. So that's why I'm encouraging. I have never put this much content together in one single bundle, and then slash the price right down. Basically, I guess because I'm creating a lot of new content, I'm figuring like this stuff is all incredibly relevant, but I'm ready to be producing new stuff. So I would like people who haven't already consumed this to get in on it. And you've got 48 hours to do it. The link is at the top of the page, or I'll also drop it here below, but it's basically KylieAnsett.com/Halloween-special. I think that's what I've called it. Yep. So, what you want to do is look at the psychology aspect, and that's just a fancy way of saying what makes someone take a certain action. This is what we as authors need to do to sell our books. And it feels a bit strange because in a way our specialty is, putting words on paper, writing words, turning our thoughts into words that are then going to inspire or support or empower or whatever sort of book you're writing, entertain. That's what our skill is. But let me let you in on a little secret. It's actually not that difficult. Once you understand the concept, I guarantee, as a writer, because you already have the skills to be able to use creativity and imagination. There's a usually slight chameleonic nature to authors, and those are the very skills that you need to apply to marketing. The problem is that most writers never think that that's what they have to do. They're thinking in the old school way, the flogging them off at the local library or getting your bookstore to buy 10 or 20 copies or whatever. When you should be selling 10 or 20 copies every single day, in electronic version on Amazon, and that should be the minimum that you're aiming for. When my book was first selling, I think it was like nearly 50 some days. It was huge in the beginning. It definitely does peter off as time goes on. It's been a year and a half, and it's probably down to about 5+ a day. Some days 1, 2, most days around 4, 5, 6. But that's the point is, and that's every day for the last 18 months. That's not going to happen in a bookshop ever. So if I really want to share my message, then I need to think about this inbuilt marketing. So I call it inbuilt marketing, browser to buyer journey, and that's what you can learn all about. But I hope even just from what I've spoken about here, you've got a bit of an inkling that it's actually a lot easier than you think, and it really is more of a approach this from a different direction rather than something. And I know whenever I speak to authors, they feel exhausted and disheartened and overwhelmed, and just it's all too much when you start talking to them, or when they start thinking, I've got promotions, I've got to promote the bloody book. How do I, where do I start? How do I do this? And it's incredibly relieving to find out that actually it's not about doing a ton more work. It's just about taking a slightly different approach, looking at it from a slightly different angle, and lo and behold, that marketing is inbuilt. It's going to be working for you for the lifetime of your book, the way that I train it. This is not, a single promotion that you pay for 1 week or 1 day. This type of marketing will be working for your book constantly. And it's actually a skill that as a writer, I am going to hazard a guess you already have. You probably just haven't applied it to this particular aspect, and when you do, it's going to be a lot easier and come a lot more naturally than you gave yourself credit for. So that's the good news. It is the good news. And if you do want to get in depth and look a little bit deeper at the kind of thing I'm talking about, so in the bundle, I have actually got 6 different trainings in that bundle. And where's my laptop? It's not here. I have to remember them off the top of my head. There's Launch Team Tactics. So that is the one that really goes in depth about how to work with a launch team. And that's about getting your book in that top 20 and utilizing the promotional period, free periods, Kindle Unlimited, all of that stuff to really, I guess, make sure that your launch happens with a bang. And it's not difficult, but so many people get this wrong. I see it time and time again. They really do stuff this up, and it's a pity because it doesn't have to be hard. So there's Team Tactics, there's the Amazon Hacks, which is really what I've just been talking about in this whole live stream, which was the browser to buyer journey and the psychology behind how to market your book in a way, the inbuilt back-end marketing that's going to make sure that it sells in perpetuity. Then there is, the mind mapping webinar. Now, this was an amazing training. So many people got a lot out of this. It's probably the biggest takeaway from that training is reducing the amount of time it takes to write your book by using the tool of of mind maps. Mind maps is actually a particular skill that I've done quite a bit of training on. I've been using mind maps for, oh my God, I can't even remember how long. I guess it'd be 20 years. Yeah. Wow. Okay, I was just trying to work that out. It'd at least be 18 years. But anyway, if you use them in the right way with your book, you can reduce the amount of time it takes to write it just by using this tool. So that's another one. That's 1, 2, 3. Then number 4 is the irresistible opt-in offers for authors. And that is a mouthful to say, but what it's all about is how to utilize your book as a list building tool. Now, if you get this right, you can get people signing up onto your email list because of your book every single day. And that is an incredible, priceless, incredibly underutilized tool. So what happens is that people don't think of their book as being I can't think of the word. I guess we could call it a lead magnet. But they don't think of their book as being that tool. Whatever business you have, if you write a book that is around that business, you're going to attract people to buy that book. Now, if you put something of value, and this is what the whole training that I train in the training, I talk about how to create an opt-in, how to actually put it in your book, where to put it in your book, what it should say, what it should be. But the point is, it has to be something incredibly valuable and something that is a good adjunct to your book that will encourage people to take that next step. Now, if you do that, you will get people signing up to your email list. And of course, we all know if you're building an online business, or pretty much any business, but let's talk about an online business. If you are building an online business, and building your list is kind of like the most important thing ever. And if you're an author and you're not using your book for that, then that is a missed opportunity, massive missed opportunity. I just have to lean back. I just went for a walk this afternoon and I'm feeling like I need to, actually I really want to just stretch out. That's what I really want to do. It's later than usual that I'm doing this. Usually I do this in the beginning of the day, and I thought I'd try a different end of the day just to see. Now that was 5, I think, wasn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the last one is, I can't remember what the last one is, but I know it's something really, really good. I should know because I've just been writing about it. It is something else. There is something else. There's 6. I know that. All right. You're just going to have to take my word for it. Whatever it is, it's fantastic. I guarantee it. Now, all of those trainings have sold. I think the cheapest was 67, and that was at that was when that was kind of on special. So its normal price was 97, but for a little while I sold it for 67. And right up to like 190 $97 was, I think, the top price for one of those. So altogether, it's basically $1,000 worth of trainings, and it's a lot less than that for you. I am bundling it up at an absolute bargain price. And the reason, as I said, is because I'm just producing new content right now, and these are looking for a home. They're looking for people to enjoy them. Everything that's in them is still completely relevant, completely current, and it's ready to be consumed and enjoyed and devoured by you. So if you want to have a go at 6 trainings basically for the price of even less than one, then go to kylieansett.com/Halloween-special. Grab them now. They are only going to be around for 48 hours, which is now probably about 43 hours because it's already been on for a little while. And go and enjoy them, and make sure that your book is enjoyed by the masses. If you have something worth saying, you want lots of people reading it, right? So that's what I'm going to be, encouraging you to do. Use that inbuilt marketing. Get smart, get savvy. Don't just, don't just do things the old way or the way that everyone else is doing them, because there's a better way. That's what I think anyway. All right. Au revoir. And don't forget, the world needs your story. So write now.